Was Richard Allen a wolf in sheep's clothing, hiding in plain sight, or was he set up?
Was this Odinism, or was this simply an evil man?
This is Reporter Room with Jessica Della Davies.
Hello, Reporter Room investigators, and we are here to talk about what happened to Libby and Abby. Specifically, we're talking about the Delphi murders and the case of Richard Allen. There have been some new developments in this case. Richard Allen has been sitting in jail since 2022. Today, we're going to be talking about the defense team's claims of Odinism, Richard Allen's confessions, and we're going to be listening to that down the hill audio and comparing and contrasting it in just a moment, so please stay with me. So Richard Allen's been sitting in jail since 2022 awaiting a trial for doing away with Libby and Abby, and there have been new bombshell allegations by Richard Allen's defense team claiming that he did not do it and that this was a group of extremists called Odinists. However, I feel the need to say that because Richard Allen has confessed multiple times and his attorneys have been doing everything in their power to try to get those confessions tossed out, I think we should take the whole Odinist thing, consider it, but also put it in the context of what is really going on in this case, because it's just as likely that Richard Allen himself could have positioned the girls and placed branches in an effort to make it look like someone else did it. If this was a group out doing some type of ritual sacrifice, then why didn't it continue after what happened to Libby and Abby? What do you think? So horrifying documents released a couple of months ago discuss how Libby and Abby were done away with. Richard Allen admitted being at the scene back in 2017 when he was interviewed by law enforcement. However, police did not suspect him at this time. So was it Keegan Kline who pointed out Richard Allen as being another person behind that Anthony Shots account? For those of you not familiar with this case, I have a whole playlist set up so you can know, but Keegan Kline was running the Anthony Shots account. Anthony Shots is just an innocent model. It was a catfish account. We're going to compare and contrast Richard Allen's voice with the audio from down the hill in just a moment, so please stay with me. So Abby and Libby were just 13 and 14 years old. They were going to a trail. This is why we have to be so careful and monitor our kids on the internet, because the man hiding behind that Anthony Shots account, at least one of them, was Keegan Kline. So were there more people hiding behind this Anthony Shots account? Was Richard Allen also utilizing this innocent model's photograph to catfish Libby and Abby? So just like Paul in the Alex Murdaugh trial, Libby helped to solve her own murder. She recorded this. Listen to this. So the Delphi documents show that Richard Allen confessed numerous times to doing away with Libby and Abby, including jailhouse recorded calls to his own wife. He also reportedly confessed to his own mother. Now, the spent bullet casing that was found near the girls had been cycled through Richard Allen's gun, the same gun that law enforcement found when they did that search warrant at Richard Allen's house. We know that Richard Allen placed himself at the scene in interviews with law enforcement. We're going to compare and contrast Richard Allen's voice with the audio from down the hill in just a moment, so please stay with me. Defense attorneys supposedly wanted these documents sealed, and they were released to the public against their will. I'm a little bit skeptical about that. What do you guys think? I don't know if it's a stunt or not. So why is the defense team claiming that this is an extremist group? We are going to talk more about the defense team's claim in just a moment, so please stay with me. Everything I'm sharing with you is my opinion. Opinions are not facts, so please don't send any negativity to anyone. Let's be kind to each other. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only, so please subscribe
My analytics are showing me that only 30% of the people that watch my videos are subscribed. It's free. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Now, according to law enforcement, Richard confessed to these crimes on April 3rd in a phone call to his wife, Kathy, while in custody. He repeated this admission to his wife, Kathy, several more times during this phone call until Kathy abruptly hung up on him. So, did she want him to stop talking, or was she so horrified she couldn't hear anymore? What do you think? So Richard Allen incriminated himself in multiple phone conversations, and of course, they're all recorded. Jailhouse calls are recorded and monitoring, and naturally, the defense want these confessions all thrown out. They want to say their client was under duress. However, when was the last time you were under duress and confessed to doing away with someone? Okay, so after he confessed and his wife, Kathy, hung up on him, Richard Allen apparently became very upset. And I'm sure he was upset because she probably didn't want anything to do with him after finding out what he did to Libby and Abby. He reportedly broke his own tablet that he had to be able to communicate with other people. He began eating his own defense attorney paperwork and then refused to eat regular food. So defense attorneys were complaining that their client was not receiving their paperwork. Well, maybe he was eating it, or maybe prison officials were concerned that he was going to eat it. We saw something similar in the Lori Vallow Daybell case with her behaviors. So my question to you is this a guilty man who's having a breakdown because his wife wants nothing to do with him after he confesses? Or is this an innocent man under duress? What do you think? So Richard Allen's defense attorneys want everyone to simply ignore the confessions because Richard Allen was under lots of duress. However, how many times have you been so stressed out in your life that you simply began confessing to doing away with people? I'm just saying. So I feel comfortable saying that I've never felt so stressed out that I've accidentally started confessing to murders that I didn't commit, or any murders for that matter. So Richard Allen's attorneys have been trying to get these confessions tossed out for months. So law enforcement went in with their search warrant on Richard Allen's house prior to arresting him, and they were specifically looking for this gun that was related to a shell casing found near the girls. Now, I have wondered what you guys think about Keegan Kline. Do you think there were more people behind the Anthony Shots account than just Keegan Kline and Richard Allen? Was this some type of a ring? And did Keegan Kline give up Richard Allen in exchange for having some of his own charges reduced and better prison conditions? I have always said that I thought this was a ring using the Anthony Shots account to lure underage girls, and Keegan Kline was the first one to get caught. We're going to compare and contrast Richard Allen's voice with the audio from down the hill in just a moment, so please stay with me. So what else did law enforcement found when they served that search warrant on Richard Allen's house? Well, besides the gun that matched the bullet casings found near Abby and Libby, they also took away clothing, and they were specifically looking for a cell phone. So I'm wondering if this would link back to the Anthony Shots account. They also dug up the backyard because they were allegedly trying to match pet hair found on Libby and Abby to a cat that had been owned by Richard and his wife, Kathy. The cat had passed away, but was buried in the backyard. So besides digging up the backyard, law enforcement also got boots, clothing, 13 knives, all from Richard Allen's house, the gun that matched the shell casings, and they also took a sample of his spare tire on his vehicle. So were they trying to match this to something else that they had? They did manage to find multiple cell phones, an iPad or iPod, computer laptops. Once they had all of this, we still don't know what law enforcement found on them. So let's compare and contrast Richard Allen's voice with the down the hill audio.
The word show coming up. Cable snapped. Where's the word show coming up? The word show coming up. Cable snapped. Where's the word show coming up?